If you're an entrepreneur who happens to be an introvert, this video might be for you. Let's get into some positive things about being an introvert in business. One of them is that we're definitely deep thinkers. Having to be alone with your thoughts for so long, you might as well be a deep thinker. You're very calculated. You're comfortable working by yourself, especially if you have all the info necessary for the project. It's easy for us to just sit and just complete a task. We're oftentimes great listeners. Again, being trapped with your thoughts, you might as well be a good listener also. There are just so many good things about being an introvert. There is the fact that we tend to be rather empathic leaders, or empathetic. Depends on the context. But yeah, empathetic leaders, which means we know what it's like to struggle with a task. Therefore, whenever we grow our business and we end up delegating a task, we understand the complexity of a task and how difficult it could be to get it to a certain way, especially if we would like the employee or our team members to do it in a certain way. We understand the nuances. So whenever we delegate a task, we understand what it takes from that individual. Someone who has never worked as a graphic designer will not understand the level of creativity it takes to produce 10 flyers in one day by themselves. We're just great to work with as a whole because we give people credit where it's due. Many of the times we would prefer to remain anonymous because we don't like to be pushed to the forefront. We lead from behind many times just because we don't like the accolades. We don't need the accolades. We already know that we're talented. We tend to be very observant when we walk into rooms, and we tend to be very, resourceful. Having to start a business by yourself, you might as well be very resourceful. Of course, there are skills that are necessary for starting a business. One, let's take my story for example. I started out as a graphic designer. I was talented, but what nobody told me is that I would have to build my own infrastructure. I would have to learn how to price my services. I would have to learn how to market myself. I would have to learn how to be good at customer service. So there's so many things that I knew I wasn't ready for. You can be put into a position, you can be promoted into a position. It doesn't mean that you're ready. And so let's just dive into some of the challenges of being an introvert in business. I don't believe it's much of a struggle to be self-motivated. Well, you have bills to pay, chances are. Poverty is a good motivator also. But to be motivated, I think it's because I heard one guy say, no one's loyal to your business more than you are. And that has to be something that even when your employees don't show up to work, or even when your collaborators can't make it, you must still be in a position where if they cannot make it or they can't make the ends meet, you're the one that has to make ends meet on their behalf. Many times you're the one whose name is on the project. So even if your team members don't show up, you have to show up every day and put in that 110%. You oftentimes have to prove your worth. Being a solopreneur has its own nuances because unless you're like me, you walk into a room with a camera, everybody knows why you're there. But if you just walk into a room in just a suit and tie, nobody knows what you do for a living. So now you have to explain yourself. And if you're a very shy individual, that might be very hard to do, especially in business mixers. Building your own infrastructure can be very daunting, and it's very rewarding at the same time, because building yourself up on social media, maybe you're starting a YouTube channel, it can be challenging, but the more skills you learn, it's better for you. I can tell you one thing, being able to communicate on behalf of a company as a customer sales representative is no small thing to do. As a matter of fact, it's very commendable. Now, taking those same skills that you've learned and transitioning them into something that works for you is good, because now the same level of skill you had back then, you can apply to your own business. Now, let's say you walk into a room and you have years and years of customer sales representation or being a customer sales representative. It's easy for you because you now can memorize the stats of your own business and now communicate them in a way that benefits you. It's hard to trust people. This is the downside to being an empathic leader. Trusting someone to put in the same level of enthusiasm or work ethic as you do is not going to be easy. But you must be able to develop the people around you so that they function in a way that benefits everybody involved. It might be hard to trust, but it's something you'll have to do. You'll have to put them in situations or environments where they grow, because at some point in time, you're going to have to hire somebody to expand your business. If I double back on business mixers, sometimes it's hard stepping into a room and explain what you do for a living to everyone that asks, especially if you have to do it in public speaking. There's the aspect of, what's it called? Imposter syndrome. Yes, it can step in many times, and especially it tends to surface when we're in rooms with our peers or people we are unfamiliar with. You now have to prove your worth. And if you don't bring your own branding materials, it's kind of hard to do. However, while we're on the topic, we're going to go into some mitigation of these challenges. One, hire help. I said before, if you're going to expand your business, you're going to have to hire help, or sometimes you're going to have to hire collaborators. It's a lot easier paying someone to specialize in something that they do and not having to worry about it. If you're like me, you detest the whole running around shipping this online, so you hire a shipping agent. Brilliant. Now all you have to do is pay and just wait for a call or a notification that your stuff has arrived. Isn't that easier than having to go around, check this, check that? It's easier. Or if you're a videographer, you hire editor. So all you have to do is be responsible for the footage and someone else delivers. See how that is? The division of labor is very, very beneficial for your business, especially if you're a creative like me. It gives you more time and more space to focus on the actual creative side of your business rather than having so many moving parts. Marketing, branding, customer service, and accounting. These are the people that you should hire first. Collaborations. Oh, this is a big one. I think if I were to be very honest, I have learned so much from collaborations. Just having to pull only one aspect of the project and having someone else who is competent and capable of handling the nuances of that project, it is so freeing. So if you're a single videographer, team up with an editor. Of course, this depends on if you're a stingy entrepreneur. Don't be selfish with opportunities. Be able to expand your circle or your network for better use of the appropriate jargon. Business coaches. I believe that being talented is a very crucial part of succeeding in business. However, there is almost this glass ceiling that you don't see. You're performing at what? Maybe 75% capacity. And it seems to be all that you can be able to manage. But when you start aiming for the 90%, you're going to need someone that is experienced in the nuances of growing a business that is going to help you get to that next level. And one last thing I would like to bring out in this video. I know you're an introvert and you probably want to keep your existence a secret. And sometimes that can work to your benefit. There's the internet, there are other mediums by which you don't have to show your face. However, building a personal brand sometimes can be unavoidable. Sometimes you have to do it. And one of the many things I've learned, people can't hire you if they don't know you exist. So if this video helped you, like, share, comment. If you know somebody else that's an introvert, please send it to them privately. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Peace.